This time on 5x5 Garage, we literally plop and drop the motor right into this car, and we didn't even need a hammer or tools or swearing or anything crazy to get those motor mount bolts in. You can watch all that now. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. Here we are getting the heads all masked off. First thing we're going to do is lay down some tape around the outside of the heads, and then we're going to put the valve cover on. Once we do that, we're going to take a blade and we're going to trace the valve cover. Once we take the valve cover off, we have the perfect imprint of where we need masked off. We'll just mask off all the excess that we don't want paint on, and we'll be good to go. Next, we start laying down the primer. The primer ensures better adhesion of paint to the engine. It increases the paint durability and provides additional protection for the engine after it's been painted. Alrighty, so we have our engine primed. I have the heads all masked off because we're going to do a different color head than we are to the block itself. And we're ready to put some color on the block. As you can imagine, it's probably not that inventive. We're going with a black block, aluminum colored heads because they are a factory aluminum head. I just didn't want to take the time to get the heads hot, tank, take them off. And you know, that guys will lead to a ton of other things that I'm going to end up having to do to this thing. So we're just going to leave them on, spray bomb, rebuild it, and it'll be fine. So I'm going to pop you guys over to a time lapse. We're going to get some color on this thing, and we're going to get it looking good. So I don't know if you guys noticed, I ran out of here real quick. The first can that I started using, the trigger, like, because you know you go shh, 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 shh. Well, I went shh, and I took my finger off the top and it kept spraying. So I had to run quick, throw that outside the shop, let that just kind of fizzle out and waste my money. And then I grabbed the second can that I have, and hopefully that doesn't happen with that can, because that is, I only bought 2 cans for this, and I would really prefer if I didn't have to go back to the parts store and buy more, but it is what it is. So we're gonna let this coat dry. What I have noticed, I'm using VHT engine paint gloss black. It is infinitely more runny than the primer from VHT, so it's definitely not as forgiving on a heavy coat. So I'm just gonna do a bunch of dusting coats until this thing is all, you know, coated fully, and after that I'll be able to take the masking off the heads, mask up the block itself, and then I can rock and roll on getting the heads the right color. Then we can paint the valve covers, and then we can put the motor back in the car, because that's where the goodies are. So we'll keep, I guess, waiting for paint to dry. I'll just sit here and watch it for you guys so you guys don't have to. And we'll be back with you in a bit. So I thought you guys would find it kind of boring, so I put a couple coats on this motor, have it looking really good, and coverage is awesome, nice and glossy. It's not perfect, but it is way better than it was. So what I have going on now is I actually have the valve covers. I just primed them. We're going to be getting colors on those soon, and it's just going to be the same color as the motor here. The valve cover is going to sit up top, and this middle bit is going to be cast aluminum color. According to VHT, we'll see how it actually looks. I like the color, but I don't think it's really cast aluminum. But I have those. I should be putting another coat of primer on those in a minute, and then after the second coat of primer, I will put 2 or 3 coats of black on there. In the meantime, I'm gonna unwrap these heads, mask off the block, and we'll get some color on those. And this thing should be done today, which means all we'll have to do is swap out this oil pan and sump for the new one, and then take all of this and put it in the car. It'll be just that easy. So we're gonna get rocking and rolling on that. We'll see you guys in a second. So we have the motor all messed up here. When the tape came off, it came off pretty good. There's a couple spots that I think you won't even notice once it's painted. So I'm just gonna send it because I don't really have a lot of time to get this thing back together. But we did mask off all the important things. We did I wrapped everything up underneath. So I'm just gonna spray these heads. And if I get 2 coats on them tonight, I think we'll be doing pretty good. I can start putting it back together and installing it in the car this week. So I am awfully close to this motor, and it smells good. It smells fresh, like new paint. Oh yeah, I guess that makes sense, huh? So I'm gonna make paint happen, and you guys sit there and relax. Here is the moment of truth. I've got 2 coats of the cast aluminum on here. I'm pretty happy with it. I don't think there's any reason to go more than that at this point. So I am going to unmask this motor and hopefully be really impressed with myself. What are the chances? Look at that. Freshly rebuilt with a rattle can. I think that is going to look really good under the hood of the Caprice. Now, like I mentioned earlier, black valve covers, and I have those really cool brackets with the right color combination on there. I think that's going to set this whole thing off very nicely. There's a couple spots that I'm not like super happy with, but you know what? If I really wanted it done right, I would have taken it to the hot tank. So, not really worried about it. Maybe the next motor that goes in this thing will spend some real time on it, but I think what I have to do now is get everything back on the motor, and we're gonna start assembling this thing soon. Okay, so I couldn't wait. I had to put the valve covers on, and this thing just looks awesome. I did, just for giggles, put the coil bracket on, but because this paint is fresh, I didn't want to let it sit too long. So I'm super happy with how it came out. I never thought it would really look that good. So with that being said, there's a lot of work left to do, because I don't know if you guys noticed, the motor's still sitting here and it needs to be in there. And we're going to tell you why in a little bit, but there's some big things going on around here, and I'm stoked, and I think it's going to all work out. What's up, guys? But as you can hear, we're making progress. We got the engine all done. Motor mount's going on, pan on. Got Cody behind me. He's fixing his legs over there. I got Dad with me. Hello. Motor in the car. Today? Maybe. So we're gonna try and make that happen. I'm not guaranteeing anything because this oil pan, the sump is a lot farther forward on that than the oil pan that was originally in the car. The reason why we're switching it up is the pan is shorter, so I don't hit everything in the world underneath the car when I drive along. Now, the issue that may present is my cross member may be too far back, so I may need to notch the cross member and put some more metal in there, which could add a lot of time to this project that really we don't have. So we did some math, and the adjustable motor mounts, the next closest is a 1/2 inch. We moved the motor mount forward a 1/2 inch, and we think that will get us really close to where we need to be. If it's not perfect, we'll have to really probably notch the cross member to make everything work without being a complete pain in the butt. But we're gonna try what we have now by moving the motor mounts forward a 1/2 inch. Hopefully it clears everything, and we're gonna throw the motor in right now. It'll be like easy. So we have the motor in the car. Motor mounts went in perfect. Looks like we have enough clearance to the oil pan. The only thing that we're fighting right now is this cross member, like we did talk about. We were touching the trans mount just through this hole. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna oversize the hole just a little bit, and that should get us right where we need to be. And if all of our math is correct, it'll all go together fine. So the motor's in. It went in a lot easier than I would have ever expected. With that hole being oversized, we were able to get the trans bolt in. Motor mount bolts literally fell right in. We didn't even need a hammer to get them in, which I think is not that common. So pretty much we're down to taking all of these all of these block off brackets off. Got to get the valley pan lift plate off. I have some replacement parts for some of those things. The accessory drives have to go back on, the intake has to go back on, the radiator has to go back on, the trans lines need to be hooked up. There's a lot we need to do. I'm not going to list everything, but we're going to get started on doing that. And then we also need to wire and fire the car. Well, that went really easy. If you want to see pretty much everything else that we're doing to this car, make sure you tune in next time, because it gets crazy. But I mean, I'm happy with how it all turned out. We have been updating social media like crazy, and I want to let you know, if you guys like what we're doing, make sure you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Clapper. We have hopefully in the next couple months we will be bringing out the 585 Garage store, where you can buy cool t-shirts just like this one, and it won't cost a lot of money, I promise. But you guys will be wrapped in some cool swag if you want to help support us. Well, I'm gonna literally get out of here before something bad happens, and we'll see you guys next time on 585 Garage.
Here's our doobie. So what's up, guys?
That was a blooper.
You can't make your own bloopers.
Press record.
It is recording.
Obvious blooper.
All right, you guys.
My show.
Hey guys.
My show.
We're back.
The things I do for you guys.